Ladies and gentlemen of the wireless, gather round. This month on Now Picture This, we are whisking you away to a tale that's berries, I tell you, absolutely the berries. In ancient China, where martial arts clash like thunderbolts in the night, an epic saga unfolds before us. By Jupiter, what we have for you today is a humdinger of revenge, romance, and revolution that will knock your galoshes clean off. So lean in close, dear viewers, as we transport you to a time when the mighty Shaolin warriors faced their darkest hour.
Picture Si Kuan standing atop a hill on a sunny day, billowing smoke murking the sky in the background. He beckoned his injured companions to follow him down the treacherously steep slope. Losing many of his comrades hammers his heart for worse than the descent. He exchanges grimacing looks with his blood brother Xiao Hu, whose troop has also suffered heavy losses. In the exchange, Hong and Xiao acknowledge their dire situation as Xiao attends to one of his fallen men. The Manchurian court accuse Si Kuan, Xiao Hu, and their companions of treason, alleging that they were revolutionaries using the Shaolin monastery as cover for their activities, thereby posing a threat to the occupying regime. The emperor reacted quickly and cruelly. He ordered the raid and destruction of the Shaolin temples. The rummable monk Zhishan, looking to save his temple and acolytes, challenged priest Pai Mei, an ally of the Manchus, to mortal combat. Unfortunately, the priest Kung Fu outclassed the old master. Tongqi Ajin arrives breathless and crestfallen with the news that their leader and teacher suffered the worst end at the hands of priest Pai Mei. Hong attempts to return to the temple in wrath. Tong's advice cuts through his rage, reminded him that their retreat is tactical. They would stones and fight again. They hoped the thick foliage would hide their withdrawal from the Manchurian forces and head deeper into the woods. Fortune turns against them. Imperial soldiers surround them, their bowstrings wailing death. The soldiers' precise arrows claimed the lives of Hong's fellow warriors. Tong did not come out unscathed as they ducked behind trees for cover. One of their vicious arrows found its home in his calf. Amid the chaos and with no time to attend to his injury, the former Shaolin student made a pivotal choice. Tong begs Si Kuan to survive and avenge their master, saying he is the only one with superior kung fu to do it. Hong resists his farewell, but Tong wrestles a sacred oath of vengeance and throws himself at the archers. Governor Cao Sing Chung's arrival halts the conflict.
Surprise, motherfucker!
As Tong's surviving allies die. The bodyguards assigned to the governor temporarily halted the carnage to bring victory spoils to their master. They thought they had cornered Si Kuan. By openly disclosing his identity, Tong breaks their illusions.
The joke's on you!
Koa, ever seeking a silver lining on every cloud, immediately orders Tong to be detained and interrogated. In a display of great defiance, he delivers a world-class kung fu performance, crippling the governor's knee and leaving an indelible impression on the Manchurians. Governor Cao hobbles to the grand court celebration with the help of his two bodyguards. His Highness, barely aware of his wounded leg, gestures his approval for the temple's raid campaign of devastation. After the Highness leaves, priest Pai Mei quietly talks to his apprentice. Pai Mei downplayed the weight Cao Sing thought his Highness' approval carried. The governor sought to parlay the emperor's approval to recruit Pai Mei to help capture Si Kuan, the most dangerous revolutionary. Pai Mei reminded him that hunting the fugitives was still his responsibility. The survivors, now without a master or home, were like scattered leaves in the wind and posed no threat. On a scarlet boat, Si Kuan collects his remaining men. In a low, forceful voice, he describes their condition. Many people, including Tong, have died. Their forces have split, with some fleeing north and others remaining in Canton to maintain the resistance. Given the widespread presence of Manchu spies, he advises them to continue practicing kung fu and maintain their cover as a traveling theater and acrobatic group. Fan Yongchung captivates a crowd on the outskirts of a small village with her graceful kung fu. The enchanted spell is broken when the red boats dock and Xiao's ensemble makes a grand entrance. Young Chun's disdain for Xiao's grandiose showboating is evident in her challenging the former Shaolin student. Her grace and skill baffle Xiao. Luckily, Hong intervenes, saving Xiao from a beatdown. Upon witnessing young Chun's captivating gaze, he loses his warrior's focus. The fight transforms into a stunning duet of ferocious tiger techniques, chasing and circling her graceful crane motions. Uncle Fan, the master mediator, stops the dance with an apology for his niece's aggression. Not to be outdone, Hong reciprocates with his apology for Xiao's actions and tops it with an invitation back to his boat as one kung fu practitioner to another. Love blooms swiftly between Hong and Young Chung, despite their incompatible martial arts styles, also Hong believes. Xiao's gentle jests about Hong forgetting their vengeance objective to not dampen their spirits. Their wedding comes soon after, a rare moment of joy in these difficult times. But peace proves fleeting.
Surprise, motherfucker!
The Manchus, tired of the Red Boats' revolutionary actions, ordered the destruction of all the vessels. Hong was forced to retreat, as he had done in the last assault on the Shaolin temples. Despite wanting to stand fight, he followed Xiao's advice and fled to establish a home with his pregnant wife. They settled in the north, where Young Chung gave birth to a healthy son named Wen Ding. Hong took his wife's advice to heart and trained tirelessly for 10 years, focusing only on honing his tiger style, despite Young Chung's suggestion to combine it with her crane technique. Meanwhile, she taught their son her style, proudly watching Wen Ding develop his skills. Before Hong confronted priest Pai Mei to get revenge for his slain master, Young Chung strongly recommended he keep his interaction with the priest as brief as possible. If defeating Manchu ally had proven impossible, he should retreat immediately. Hong races up the long staircase to the priest's home and sanctuary, quickly overcoming 2 novice priests sweeping, dragging them into the temple, who meets opposition from other priests, who he punishes for impeding his progress. Priest Pai Mei walks in and witnesses his fellow priest getting roughed up. Unfazed, he applauds Hong's daring one-man assault on a temple. 2 skilled swordsmen unsheathe their shining razor-sharp blades and charge. The priest insists that Hong follow temple customs and participate in the sword challenge trial. Armed with his iron fist and his tiger-style prowess, Hong dispatches them expertly, killing them with their weapons. All seem to be going home Si Kuan's way. Pai Mei agrees to Hong's challenge, and as the priest begins to remove his sheer coat, Hong attacks. The priest easily evades or blocks all of Revolutionary's strikes. He pauses to warn Hong that he is insufficiently robust to avenge his master's death. The rebel in him urges Hong to forge forward. Tired of toying with Hong, priest Pai Mei unleashes his full power on Hong. After tasting the priest's might, Hong realizes victory is nowhere in sight. As defeat approaches, Hong recalls his wife's warning, fakes an offensive play, and dashes for the exit. Hong, who is severely injured, staggers and falls. As he rolls down the stairs, Pai Mei on his heels palm strikes a gigantic cauldron statue after his disabled enemy. Xiao intercepts the cauldron, allowing Hong to roll out of the way. Having sustained more severe injuries than Hong, Xiao utilizes his dying breath to provide knowledge regarding the priest's vulnerability and the best time to exploit it. Hong comes home, where his wife cares for his wounds and nurses him back to health. Wen Ding is profoundly saddened to hear about Xiao Hu's death. Hong is back at square one. Hong spent another 7 years perfecting his tiger style after learning of priest Pai Mei's weakness. When Young Chung chooses not to practice, his son, a young man well versed in the crane style, puts his father's skills to the test. Hong longs for a rematch with Pai Mei, confident that he has outperformed his past abilities. Young Chung makes a final desperate attempt to persuade her husband to learn the crane style, but he vehemently rejects it, insisting that the 2 methods should never be merged. After Hong says goodbye to his wife and son, Young Chun's face is marked with tremendous anguish. Wen Ding, a concerned son, inquired about his mother's plight. His father had always returned, despite the dangers he encountered on his travels. She explains to Wen that his father had only escaped Pai Mei's harsh clutches because the priest did not see Si Kuan as a threat. However, now that his kung fu has dramatically improved, Pai Mei will not accept the presence of such a dangerous foe. Wen pursues his father, urging him to stay. The concerned son obstructs his father's path and engages in a heated argument that turns into an exchange of fists. Of course, Wen Ding loses. It isn't even a contest. Hong restrains his son against a tree, instructing Wen on the history of Shaolin, the loss and sacrifices by his blood brothers to ensure Monk Shan's death is avenged. Hong reminded his son of Xiao Hu, one of many heroic men who defied oppression and paid the ultimate price. He explains to his kid that, unlike Xiang Hu and Tong Chi Ajin, who gave up their lives, he was self-centered and used his status as a privilege to start a family. Given that Wen Ding is already a young adult, Hong believes his chance to keep his commitment to the Shaolin brothers and his country is swiftly dwindling. He believed that if he delays any longer, he may lose his resolve to complete his mission. Pai Mei was resolved to not let the revolutionary leader leave the temple alive. He had planned for the Manchurian soldiers to surround the temple and cover all exits after Hong entered it. Hong was unaware of the priest's backup plans and burst into Pai Mei's residence, summoning his opponent to submit to a mortal combat. Hong Shan was more determined and focused than in their previous confrontation, and the rematch promised to be epic. Hong Si Kuan is thrilled to find Pai Mei with his apprentice,
Surprise, motherfucker!
Cao Xin Ching. He firmly declares to Pai and Kao that this is the day the duo will fall by his hands and, in the process, learn a valuable lesson. Pai Mei chuckles and turns to the governor, telling him that, as he predicted, that they will not have to seek Si Kuan, since he will not come to them on his own. Cao Xin bows to his master in reverence for his prophetic powers before pouncing on Hong, believing he can kill the rebellion's leader. However, Cao Xin's skills are limited, and Hong punished the governor for his arrogance by severely injuring his arm. He underestimated Tong during the temple raids. He repeated the same mistake with Hong, and an injured limb is the price. Pai Mei is impressed by Hong's abilities. Undaunted, Hong moves forward. Cao's bodyguards try to stop him, but they are even less a threat than the governor. His gaze is fixed on the white-haired older man. Hong's moves are quick and forceful, and his strong blows overwhelm the priest. Hong strikes Pai Mei in the solar plexus, and the priest is startled that Hong broke down his defenses. They pause. The governor tries to intercede, but Pai Mei stops him. He appreciates Hong's progress, but the rebel leader is uninterested in compliments or criticisms. Hong takes a moment to settle himself. The priest uses this opportunity to warn Si Kuan about the limitations of his tiger-style approach. He comments that the resilience on the forceful but stiff tiger style stops him from discovering new openings that could lead to victory. Hong, intent on victory, is not dissuaded by Pai Mei and initiates another exchange. Pai Mei unleashes his full power with a palm strike that blasts through 2 solid wooden doors and propels Hong through 2 further doors on the far side. Priest Pai Mei is on a roll. He knocks down Hong once, twice. With the rebel leader's stamina waning, he pauses to measure the length of the fountain's shadow and surmises it is 3 in the afternoon. His window to defeat his master's killer is closing fast. Pai Mei's onslaught is relentless and unforgiving. Hong cannot break the priest's defenses, and this confrontation leaves Hong more seriously injured than in their prior clash. Hong's shadow measure did not go unnoticed by the priest, so when he noticed Hong's second instance of being distracted, he figured out Hong's plan. The priest concluded that his opponent knew his weakness and the optimum time to leverage it. Pai Mei moves towards Hong, purposely exposing himself to an attack. Hong takes the bait wholeheartedly. Unfortunately for him, the priest is prepared and captures Hong. Pai Mei entraps Hong in the same way he entrapped his master, Monk Shan. Unable to defend himself, the priest takes pleasure in shattering Hong's legs. In his customary authoritative manner, the priest instructs the governor to hand over the seized Hong to the Manchus for questioning. True to his rebellious nature, Hong battles the 2 guards who sought to raise him and, despite his damaged kneecaps, springs at the governor, knocks him down, and quickly crushes his trachea.
The joke's on you!
Pai Mei's quick reply, a powerful strike to Hong, left him and the guards reeling. The harm, however, had been done. Cao Xing Chung's dying deed is to gasp for air next to his instructor while he reaches out to his ultimate nemesis, Si Kuan's dead body. For 12 days, Wen Ding remained stationed at their gate, refusing to give up hope even as his mother calmly accepted Hong's death. Young Chung pounders, beating Pai Mei required a new way of fighting that the priest had never encountered before. She believes that merging her late husband's tiger style with her crane style is one way that would work. Hong's manual is damaged, and Wen Ding hides this fact from his mother. With the information garnered from the manual, he cleverly alters it, making up his style and surreptitiously establishing a hybrid of the 2 disciplines. A year after Hong's death, Wen Ding followed in his father's footsteps up the same flight of stairs Hong took to challenge Pai Mei. While his father took a direct frontal assault, Wen Ding reconsidered and at first opted for a quiet, covert attack. Upon realizing security has lapsed, he enters priest Pai Mei's chambers, where he meditates. After Wen Ding identifies himself as Hong's son and his intentions to avenge his father's death, Pai Mei first gives his condolences, and then comments on Wen Ding's fighting skills as worse than his father's. The priest offers to be his teacher, as he assumes that Wen's tutelage is incomplete due to Hong's death. Little does he know this assumption would underestimate Wen's skills and ingenuity. Just as he had successfully done twice before, Pai Mei traps Wen Ding's leg. As he is about to execute his finishing move that cripples his opponent's leg, Wen Ding evades and jumps on the priest's shoulders. Wen's leg locks are unbreakable due to the years of strengthening his leg muscles, a practice his mother instilled in him. Confused about escaping Wen Ding's lock, priest Pai Mei momentarily loses focus, giving Hong's progeny the window to deal a devastating blow. The priest loses his hair and eyes in Wen Ding's 3 quick strikes. Wailing in pain, the priest falls, and the 2 roll down the stairs away from the temple. Wen Ding's victory demonstrated his adaptability and courage to deviate from accepted forms. As the priest kept tumbling down the temple stairs, Wen Ding stood triumphant, avenging his father and paying tribute to the fallen Shaolin. The legacy of the Hong family reminds us that victory often stems not solely from strength, but from embracing change and challenging tradition.
Well, butter my biscuits, folks. Wasn't that a whopper of a tale? From forbidden techniques to epic revenge, this story had more punch than a prize fighter. If you got your heart racing, be a dab. Smash that subscribe button, share with your pals, and drop us a comment. This is your favorite storyteller saying, stay snazzy, and remember, the best pictures are the ones we paint together.